I used to believe that if I got a master's degree, I would never struggle financially. But here I am with a degree and still broke. So the question is, where did it all went wrong? Because trust me, it's not what people think. It's really not. I just believe that the system is set up in a way where a mother or a caregiver has to choose between family and the corporate world. That's what I believe. In my last two videos, I told you my reality. But in this video, I want to break it down, the truth behind it. Because let's be honest, I know I'm not the only one going through this. There are thousands, even millions of caretakers that are going through the same exact thing that I am going through right now. You know, I did everything the way that they told me to do it. Go to school, get good grades, get a degree, and bam, your life will be stable. But that did not happen. It did not happen for me, and I'm pretty sure it did not happen for a lot of other mothers out there. I actually believe it's the complete opposite. You go to school, you get those degrees, and for me, I didn't just stop at a bachelor's. I went all the way to a master's degree. So naturally, I thought I was setting myself up for success, you know? But however, here is what nobody actually tells you, that a degree does not guarantee you income. It doesn't guarantee you opportunities, and it definitely does not guarantee you financial freedom. It does not. Um, if you ask me in a way, I would say a degree is actually a trap. Because you go to school, you take all these big financial loans, um, student loans, you go in and take personal loans and you pay for that degree, and you get out of school. When you get out of school, they start you at the bare minimum. That is not even enough for you to live on. So when you work your way on the top, then you have family. Then what? Now you have to decide between continuing in the corporate world or taking care of your family, which is exactly where I found myself, which is exactly where I find myself today. I realized that you can be educated and still struggling. Look at me. That's my exact life. And for me, life didn't just pause after I got my degree. I have a family to take care of. I have responsibilities. And real life doesn't just wait for you to figure things out. So instead of walking into some perfect situation, I found myself trying to balance everything. And still, for me, I'm not getting ahead financially. The truth is, I was prepared academically, but not financially. I think this is typical of being an African. African parents are so big on education. They do. They would do anything to allow their child to get that education, to become a doctor, a lawyer, um, you know, the corporate America kind of work. But I think where they failed us is they didn't prepare us on how to be parents, how to run our household. They, I think they believed that the world will still be what it was when they had us. In a sense, when you in Africa and you have a child, the community helps you raise that child. aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, even your neighbors will help you raise that child. You do not have to worry as much for that child's safety because as a community, we're all one. We all look after that child. If that child go out and misbehave, the outside will take care of it, bring that child home and tell you exactly what happened. And you too will punish that child. So that's double dose of punishment for the child, meaning that the streets will punish them, bring them home, and the parents will punish them. So now, as a child, I don't want to mess up because when I mess up, I know I'm going to get ass whooping outside. And then when they bring me home to my parents, I'm going to get another ass whooping. So, no, I will behave myself. I will grow up good. But in America, it's the complete opposite. When you have a child, you have a child. It's not on your mother, it's not on your brother, it's not on your sister. Definitely, it's not on your neighbor. You have to raise that child. You have to work around that child. It no longer becomes your life. Now it's their life. Your life has to revolve around them. Their schooling, after school activities, including, sports, whatever they're doing at school. Summer, you got to put them in some kind of program. You got to make sure you keep them busy. You got to make sure that they're safe. They have good enough food to eat, clothes. Whereas back then, you know, you just have to let your child go out. Our parents just had to let us go out and play until the street light comes on and then we come back home. We're safe. But now that is not the case. So I think they did a good job pushing us to get that education, but they forgot to teach us that life is always changing and it's not going to be what it was when they had us. And to also piggyback on that, they didn't teach us how to build wealth. Nobody taught me how to create income outside of a job. They didn't teach us about side hustles. They didn't teach us about, trading your time for income. They didn't teach us that the system is going to just keep us earning paycheck to paychecks. They didn't teach us all that. So everything was just coming out of college. Everything was just crazy. It was just crazy for me. The one thing that I would tell you is that I was taught on how to pass exams and not how to be life. I think that's where everything started clicking for me, because it's not fitting together. If I choose to pursue my degree, my family life suffers. And if I choose to take care of my family, my financial life suffers, which is where I am today. So there is no balance. And again, for me, that's where things start clicking. So how can I make these two balance themselves out, where I can still be here for my children when they need me, but yet still I can still make that money to do everything that I need to do plus more. Because I realize if I want a different life, a life where I don't have to choose between family and income, I'm going to have to do things differently. And it just makes sense, If what I'm doing right now does not work, which is not working, then I need to try something different. Because think about it, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. But I'm not doing that anymore. I'm getting off the wheels and I'm trying to find a better way to make this work for me. Because let's be honest, I will never, ever choose anything over my family. But at the same time, my family needs that income to survive, for them to be able to afford not necessarily luxury, but the basics. So, in my next video, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing to change my situation, not just talking about it, the actual steps that I'm taking to go from where I am now to where I want to be. Because trust me, I'm not staying stuck here. Absolutely not.